Hey YouTube, it's been a while since I made a video about my Sun-Lite 16BH camper. Something happened, let me show you what's going on. So here's my spare tire. I was watching the latest Matt's off-road recovery video, and he actually rescued one of these Sun-Lite trailers way out somewhere, I think on the Arizona Strip or something like that. It was a 149 model. Anyways, he's rescuing the trailer, talking about it, checking it out. And he was looking at the spare tire that was mounted to the back of it, and he showed how poorly welded and flimsy the spare tire mount was. So after watching that, I figured, let me come out here and take a look at my spare tire. I had this tire off the trailer last year, but I've never really examined it to see if there was some sort of problem with the mount. So here's my spare tire. Coming around here and behind it, hopefully you'll be able to see this. This is the bracket that holds it on, and you can see it's broken right there above that bolt. And I don't know how long it's been that way. I don't think it was like that last fall. I take a big long road trip at the end of every September, and I had the tire off before then, and I would have seen it if that was the case. So it either happened when I was out on that trip, because there's quite a bit of rough dirt roads I was on, or anytime over the last 9 months, I guess this could have happened. So I'm glad I saw that video by Matt's Off-Road Recovery, and I'm glad I came out and I looked at this. So now I need to address it. And I've had people ask me, who is this guy on the back of my spare tire? It's one of those things on Amazon. You could have these custom made or whatever. But that's Carl Pilkington, in case you're wondering if you don't know who he is. He was a British philosopher. He's not really known so well now, but like around 2005, 2010, he was pretty darn famous, especially in England. So let me take this tire off, get a better look at that bracket, and then we'll see what needs to be done. This is a pretty standard way to mount these as far as I could tell. 2 bolts that go in, there's a plate here that kind of keeps the tire on, but just look at how wobbly this thing is. That's terrible. And then I'm looking at the back here, and if you look at the lower bolt right about here, it looks like it's already starting to crack there too. So we're cracked up here. Up top here is already cracked. It's cracking down below. I could completely imagine a day when I'm driving down the road, this thing is doing all this kind of nonsense, and the whole thing just falls down. I mean, I would be terrified. Well, I wouldn't be terrified if I was Ricky. If I was terrified if I was a car behind me, when this tire just completely just falls off. I mean, I could kill somebody, to be honest with you. This is a serious hazard. So I would encourage, regardless of what kind of trailer you have, I would encourage you to keep an eye on this, because I know just by doing some research how these brackets are made. Almost every brand of trailer uses one variation of this. They're almost all the same. And well, let me take the tire off. I'm going to show you something. That pin right there is something that really bothers me. Just hang on a second. So these things are made, for whatever reason, with a pin in this top slot here, with the idea that you can fold this down. See if I could do this with one hand. Like that. Now, what in the world does that do for anybody? I have no idea how this mechanism is beneficial to anybody in the world whatsoever. I can't understand it. But what ends up happening as a result of that is when this pin, I can get it back in with one hand. When that pin is in, all right, there's just a little bit of play there. And I bet you over time, this trailer is a 2022. I should have told you that at the front. So what has it been, 3.5 years now? Over time, that little bit of movement with the weight of the tire on here caused that to break. I don't know, I really, for the life of me, I don't understand the reason for this mechanism. And they're all made this way. I looked on eTrailer, and you can buy them on eTrailer that don't fold down. So you can get them that way, but in terms of what are on dealers' lots, for whatever reason, they're all like this. So anyways, here's a better look at that brake. Mine's welded to the bumper. Normally these things have a U-bolt that goes around. This is a 4-inch tube bumper. Usually there's a U-bolt that goes around and a bracket on the back side that holds it on. Mine's welded, so that's good. They took the time to do that, which is unusual because usually they're just a U-bolt. So I don't think I'm going to go through any sort of trouble to try to weld this. I can't weld it. I could take it somewhere to be welded, but I don't think there's any hope in doing that or any sense in doing that. This is all crappy down here anyways. So I'm just going to replace this bracket, and I'm going to see if I can get one that I can just replace, because this is, like I said, this is welded. So I'm going to see if I can get one that'll just fit right on here. Real quick, I just noticed this too. There's another hairline crack here. I don't know how well that's showing up on the camera, but it's not just like a surface scratch because it's carried all the way down to here. So this part that was, welded on the top, this part here is already starting to split here as well. So this whole thing needs to be replaced. Just came from my dealer, same place I got the trailer. It used to be called Scenic Roads RV in Manchester, Tennessee, but they were always part of Cedar City, I think. Cedar City up in Lebanon. Cedar something up in Lebanon. There's a Cedar City, Utah that I'm probably getting confused with. But Cedar something up in Lebanon, Tennessee. They're owned by the same company. Anyways, I'm telling you all that to tell you that Cedar City or Cedar RV, whatever the heck it is, they are now, Scenic Roads is under that banner. I'm just making this convoluted for no reason. I went to the dealership. Trust me, it's the same place I bought my trailer from, right? And I bought this for $58, which is an easy lift, because I wasn't sure. I should have did some measuring and stuff like that, but this has the U-bolts, like I said, if it wasn't welded, and this part up here should fit my spare tire just fine. And it does have the two holes here where I guess easy lift is that folding mechanism. So it does support that, but I'm going to try to not put a pin in there. We'll figure that out later on. So I got this, but I wasn't sure of the size of all this. So when I was talking to the guy, he wasn't sure either, because these things have changed quite a bit in the last few years. He gave me this one for free. This one doesn't have any of the other hardware because I shouldn't need it since mine is welded. But you could see the difference in size between the two. This one here is, a good 7 or 8 inches shorter, which I think is better. This is closer to what I have. The longer this is, the more it has, momentum to wiggle around as I'm driving down the road. The other benefit of this, though, and I think this is a slightly better design, is it's got this angle bracket here. Whereas this is the same as mine. There's no angle bracket here. There's no other support. This extra little bit here might be all that's necessary to keep all this thing, keep the integrity of this thing intact as it's bouncing around down the road. So it's got the pin too. Like I said, it's made to fold down, but I'm going to see if there's some way around that. Hang on a second. Let me see which of these is going to work better. I'm just about sure this is the one I want to use. All right, so here's my broken one. Here's the one I got for free from the dealer, and here's the one I bought from the dealer. Definitely going to go with the one I got for free, mainly because of this angle piece right here that's going to be a bit more secure, but it is the same size as the one that broke, so it won't go up so high. When I put this longer one on, it covers up my license plate at the very top. So the plate that's on the back of the trailer, you can see right there, would get covered up, and I don't want to have any problems with that from a police officer or something. So I guess I'm telling you that so you know, if you end up doing something like this yourself, just make sure you get one that's the same dimensions. I don't know if you bought this Easy Lift one that I got here. I guess that's the company that makes it, Easy Lift. It says Easy Lift spare tire mount. What's the model on this? That's not the model. Here's the model there. That's upside down. I'll flip it around so you could read it, but it says 48476 is the model. If you were to buy this one, just know that it's going to be longer by, oh man, I don't know, that's probably a good 7 or 8 inches there. It's going to be longer by that amount, which might cover up your license plate. Let me see how this one fits. That'll be the next thing. Yeah, holes are in the exact same place. They fit fine. That's the original bolt. That's the pin that came with this new one. It still moves a little bit. You can see up here. I don't like that at all. I gotta be honest with you. I think I'm better off with this piece here, but I do not like how this moves. So I'm gonna see if maybe I can, instead of having a pin, I got another bolt now. So let me try putting another bolt in here and let's just see if that makes it any tighter. I doubt it, but I'll try. Actually, no, I do not have another bolt. I thought this came with a bolt for the bottom, but it's actually 2 pins. They want 1 pin in the bottom and 1 pin in the top. So this did not come with a bolt that will fit there. I don't think I've got anything in the house either. I'm gonna take a quick look and see, but I think it's gonna be it's gonna have to be a pin. Nope, I'm out of luck. I got nothing even close to this. I got some carriage bolts, but a carriage bolt's not gonna be ideal. I'm gonna put it together with what I got. The other thing too is the diameter of this is the same as the pin, so I don't even know if it'd make that much of a difference. I was just thinking I could squeeze it tight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was hoping that if I put a bolt up top here with a nut, that I could pull it tight, but I don't even know if that'd make a difference, to be honest with you. This really should be welded, is what should be the case. So I'm not gonna, well, it's a weekend, there's a welding shop near my house. It's not gonna happen right now. I'm gonna put it together with what I got, and then if I have some spare time over the next little bit of what's left of summer here, I'll bring the trailer down with the welder and see if he wants to weld that for me. But what I want to do, because I'm seeing some surface rust here and over here and stuff, let me clean this all up and put some fresh spray paint on that, and then I'll put it back together. All right, that looks a bit better. I'll let that dry for a few minutes, and I'm going to see, because this is welded to the bumper, since I've got U-bolts with the one I bought, and not that I really need them, but I'm going to see if I can still get those U-bolts around here on each corner, just to give it a little bit more support. These welds here, they all look good to me. I don't see any sign, well, it's painted now, but before I painted it, didn't see any signs of rust or cracking there, but just for a little bit of extra peace of mind, let me see if those U-bolts fit. It's a pretty day here in Middle Tennessee. It's only about 80 degrees. The heat index last week was 105, 108, 110. It's crazy. It's cooled down quite a bit. Nice overcast day. Those aren't my horses out there in the distance. It's the neighbor, the person that owns that field next to me, but I sure like watching them. I'm gonna have to watch something while paint dries. Looking at some horses walking around eating grass. It's not a bad way to pass the time. And then there's Ricky. He's just hanging out. Well, the answer to that question is no. I should have known this. The bumper right here is right up against the frame of the trailer. So there is no way to get that U-bolt around. There's no gap here whatsoever. It looks like there's a small gap, but that's just because the bumper is rounded just a little bit on the edge here. So that's right up against it. And in case you were wondering how these things are welded, so it looks like there's a little weld there. I'm hoping this is in focus. It's hard for me to see. But there's a weld right there for the bumper to the frame. And then got another one there, which looks fine. So really, I don't think there's anything else back there underneath the steps. I don't see any other welds down there behind the steps. So you got that weld there, you got that weld down there, and then you just got here on each corner. So there's like 4 welds. I don't know. I'm not an engineer, and like I said, this trailer is it's 3.5 years old now, so it's been fine. But I'm not an engineer. To me, that doesn't seem like enough. But you can see there's some welds there on the corners, and you got the same thing on the other, the opposite corner of the bumper. So it's welded on the far left and the far right, and then there's 2 little welds towards the middle, and that's what's holding that whole bumper on, with the spare tire mounted to it. That spare tire, with everything, I bet you that weighs probably 50 pounds or something, or close to it, 40 pounds probably on that. You're putting it together. Why would you just do little dabs like that? In my opinion, you would just do a nice stream all the way across. How much more would that cost? It wouldn't even have taken up all that much more time, but nothing I could do about that. But I checked all 4 welds and they all look fine. I don't think the bumper is going to fall off by any means. So let me put the bracket on there now that that's all dry and put it back together. I'm kind of just complaining is all it is. This trailer's been great. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. It's still the best thing I've ever purchased. And the few things that have broken over the years have been relatively minor. This just bothers me because this is like a legitimate safety thing with this spare tire. The way that this is welded and put on seriously could cause an accident if that tire were to have fallen off behind me, because I wouldn't even see it. Yes, I got a rear view camera. It's right up there. You can see it right there, right? But if you use one of those, you know, you're not looking at it all the time. That tire could have fallen off, caused an accident behind me. I may not even have known it happened. So that freaks me out. And the fact that this bumper is just welded on with 4 little blobs, to me that seems cheap as well. Inexpensive is the name of the game with any trailer, but that just seems like cheap craftsmanship. That, let me ask you this. I don't always tell you guys to comment on videos and stuff like that, but if you've got a trailer that's got a 4-inch tube square bumper like that, if you have time, take a look at it and let me know if yours is welded on with just 4 little blobs like that, or if there's a continuous stream. I'm not even using the right terminology. I'm not a welder, so maybe that's fine. But to me, that just seems bad. That seems like a very poor craftsmanship that could lead to a potential problem. Let me know if yours is better than that. Normally the bolt is here and the pin is here, so you could fold this thing down. I swapped them around. I put the pin in the bottom, put the bolt here. I made it as tight as I could. It's pinched. This thing is squeezed in as much as it could be squeezed in. It's flush, it's tight. And this thing just moves a teeny little bit now. Look up here at the top. Teeny bit. And it's really moving left to right. Let me see if I can tighten that a little bit more down there. Let me see. I'm afraid I'm going to bust it. But I'm going to see if I can squeeze that in a bit more. Yeah, if I tighten this anymore, I'm going to either strip it or something's going to crack. So, front to back, like 1/8 of an inch, left to right. Man, that's about 1/4 of an inch left to right. So this is how it's going to be. If I had a bolt down here, I could squeeze this in down at the bottom, make it tighter. I don't have a bolt. We're going to leave it go. Like I said, I may take this into the guy that did the welding on my front for my batteries. I'm going to put that new tray in for the batteries. I'll see if he could just pinch that in and weld that or something to make it better sometime in the future, but not today. While I'm in a bit of a bad mood here, let me just talk to you about this tire. This is the tire that came with the trailer. I don't know what manufacturer this is. JK Tire. It's obviously European because of the way they spell tire, right? It says AT plus. AT minus. It should be AT minus. And JK, I'm pretty sure that stands for just kidding. Like joking, just kidding, because these tires are pretty awful. Was it the first year I've had them? Can't remember if it was the first year or the second year, but I ended up getting on my driver's side right over there a flat or a slow leak or something. Took it to a tire shop. They couldn't figure out where it was leaking air from. Wasn't the valve stem. It may have just been really crappy rubber. Some little hairline fractures in here, little cracks or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I kept this junky tire as my spare. I was way out in the middle of nowhere, as I usually tend to be, where I had a flat tire and I had to swap them around and everything. So this thing got me home, and it was fine. But as soon as I got home, I replaced my tires with these Wild Peaks. What are these? I think these are the 3s. Yeah, AT3. They don't make the AT3 anymore. They make an AT4 now. So I think they're just as good. Phenomenal tires. Absolutely phenomenal. I never have to put air in these tires. I don't camp in the summer. I only camp in the winter. So this thing sits here for probably 4 months at a time without any activity whatsoever. Not a drop of air lost from these tires. These are amazing tires. If you find yourself getting a Sun-Lite or any of the less expensive brand trailers, boy, I really sound negative in this video. I do not mean to sound so negative. I'm dark right now. I'm going to lighten up here. There it goes. Just lighten up. Look at his hair. Good grief. Guys, I had a day. Let me just tell you, I'm not telling you about my day here, but I'm sorry I'm being a little bit negative on this trailer because I love it, but gosh darn it, the tires that came with it are junk. These are junk tires. JK, just kidding tire. If you've got these tires on your trailer, whoever made your trailer, I would encourage you to just get rid of them. It's worth the investment in getting good tires for something that you're going to be relying on, that you might be out in the middle of nowhere like I am, and the last thing you want is problems with your tires. So avoid these, is what I'm saying. You can see these are still blue because this was on the inside. I'm going to swap it around when I put it back on. All right, we're all back together. The other thing I don't like about this is, and my old one was exactly the same way, is that you can only get the bolt through one of the holes on the wheel itself because of the way that they're spaced. So they give you this bracket here that you end up just tightening up and bending to hold it in place. And this thing still moves. What can I say? It still moves, all right? You can see it's moving. Hopefully you can see this back here. It's all moving because of this gap, and it's not tight, so it is what it is for now. I always hated that expression, it is what it is, but it applies here. This angle piece, I think, will help keep this strengthened, but it wouldn't surprise me if in another 2 or 3 years, from the movement here like this, just going down some bumpy roads, eventually that's going to wear itself out and something's going to break. So the right thing to do is to weld this. There's probably tens of thousands of trailers out there with the same exact bracket that aren't welded and never have a problem. And they're probably always bouncing around like this as they go down the road. If you're going down the freeway, you might not see it move as much, but if you're on a bumpy dirt road, that's going to happen. So am I at risk of some other catastrophe? Maybe, maybe not. But the right thing to do is to weld it. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I just got to make time to get to that place. They're only open Monday through Friday. And of course, they're only open during normal work hours, the same hours that I work. So it's one of those things I just got to take time off of work to make arrangements to get there and do that. It'll probably only cost me 20 bucks for them to weld that. But all right, that's all I got to show you. I'm going to put the cover back on. I'll put Carl back on the thing there. Carl brings me peace. When I get into a funk like today's been a bad day and this thing's giving me a headache and I'm just disappointed in how all that's welded, I just listened to some of Carl Pilkington's philosophical musings. Probably my favorite philosopher, Carl Pilkington. And he kind of lifts my spirits and puts me back in the right frame of mind. So I appreciate you watching this video. I don't know why, I always say at the end of these, I don't know why you watch these things. What do you have to gain from this one? I guess you could just see a potential problem on your trailer based on this. So maybe if nothing else, this will benefit you. You'll go out there and you'll take a look at yours and you'll just keep an eye on it to see if that same sort of fracture might happen on your spare tire. So I appreciate you watching, and it's beginning of August. I was ready to close this video out. Now I'm extending it a little bit more for no good reason. But I'm gonna tell you that it's the end of August. My camping season is starting at the end of September, so another 2 months to go, and then hopefully there'll be some more interesting content on this channel as I go to some interesting places throughout the winter, throughout the autumn and the winter, and into the early spring. So officially, thank you for watching this video, and I hope that I see you in the next one.